Welcome to Off the Books, the podcast for savvy e-commerce sellers and bookkeepers who want to take their business to the next level. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, my name is Oberlander and I'm the e-commerce bookkeeper, founder of ConnectBooks. ConnectBooks is a tool to automate bookkeeping for Amazon sellers. And today here on our guest, we have Jacob Oberlander from Oberlander Co. And I've known Jacob really for the last 5 years, actually more 7 years.
Yep.
I'm really impressed with him and his knowledge, and I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today. Thank you so much, Jacob, for joining us.
Thank you, Nachman, for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Do you want to give a little background about what Oberlander Co is? Just give a quick intro for the audience here.
Yes, Oberlander Co is a boutique accounting firm. We focus on concierge service, high-end service for clients. Our specialty is we help a business owner not just with taxes, we help them with business advisory, fractional CFO services as well, and attention to detail.
Wow, sounds amazing. All right, so I'm going to start off with my first question that I love to talk about, and I think this is a very good topic as our audience is mainly focused on accountants and bookkeepers. So, we're not really going to be getting into nitty-gritty about tax and accounting because that's really boring, because that's what we do all day. We don't want to talk about it. We want to talk about the more exciting stuff. So I have a really interesting question. You're a very big accounting firm today, but let's go back when you started. I mean, we once spoke about this a while ago, and I remember you telling me you made sure to network a lot and by any go to any parties or any place and make sure to tell everybody that you just started an accounting firm. But my first question is, how did you get your first 20 clients? What did you do?
Yes, so you have a good memory, and that's exactly what I did. So initially, I did have some clients coming in from my previous practice, but that wasn't my main focus. As you said, as I told you then, I did word of mouth. That's really the hierarchy when you get new clients. It's word of mouth. Whenever you meet someone, be comfortable. Tell them, this is what I'm doing, and I'm looking for business. As usually, what happens when you're a beginner, you're going to accept some clients that you might not accept as you get bigger. You might not accept those clients. You still want to have some sort of filter, like you still want to be somewhat picky, but you have to sort of a little bit lower your standards. So that's what we did, and we got some great clients. And after that, usually it comes with referrals. So in accounting, getting client is you're playing for the long haul. Good service, people start to trust you. You build up trust, and then comes referrals. After that, you can do more advanced stuff.
So I have two questions to you. So what did you do when you decided to go on your own? What did you do day one? You sat in the office just looking at the wall? What did you do?
I'll tell you, in day one, I actually started in my basement. And after a week, I told my wife that a basement is not an option. I needed to have a professional office environment. Coming from an office, going into my basement, I didn't really feel motivated to work. So my first expense was my tax software, which is quite expensive. But after that, I figured, you know what, I'm not going to work in my basement. We rented an office, coming in there and being 9 o'clock, being in the right mode, in the right zone, in the work zone. So that's what I did. Yes, exactly. So I came in there. I still had some work to do because I started working. I started my own practice after April 15th. So there was still some clients that I had coming over, but really it's just about in the beginning, it's just making phone calls, really being there. I think half of success is showing up, and that's what I did, showing up, being there and being ready.
So you made phone calls in the beginning? You actually went through?
Calling friends, yeah. At the beginning, I just would, just phone calls, this is on my own. Do you know anyone? Really, that's what I did. And it's not, for anyone who knows me, it's not my default. It's not easy to do that. Now it's easier for me. It's still not easy, but at that point, that was the only thing that was being comfortable and being vulnerable. It's okay being vulnerable, and you can network with people that know you. For example, for me, I remember calling a apparel company, right? So that you have a network. Everyone has a network. You just have to be there and think about it. For example, you have a relationship with companies, with apparel providers. By the way, I'm my own now. Do you have any people coming to you? Now, this is a good tip that there are people that, they have a problem with unemployment. So you take on the complicated stuff that people don't want to deal with. So one of my first clients was actually a company that had a unemployment insurance audit. It was a messy audit, a complicated audit. At that time, I took it on. It was a good project. It was a long project, but I got it as a referral from a peer provider because their accountant wasn't able or ready or for whatever reason to do that. So for me, I was happy to take it on. And the other thing that people should know, whichever level you are, the place where I am at now, there are some clients who are not suitable for me. They don't fit our profile, what we work. So I always refer people to other accountants. And at the same time, there's always accountants above you that have, so it doesn't mean if you get referrals from other accountants, it doesn't mean they're garbage clients. It could be it's not the right fit for you. So I'm happy to take on clients from bigger accountants, from regional firms and bigger firms. We get clients from people who feel that the regional firms are not for them. They will come to me, and then the same way, at the same token, I have people reach out to me, and I would tell them, I don't think I'm the right fit for you. I don't think I can help you, but I can refer you to someone else. So don't be afraid to even network people with you would call your competitors.
No, I love networking with competitors. It gives a lot of insights, and it gives a lot, and I believe everything comes from above. So, just networking one competitor, you don't really lose a client. And I get into it soon, but it's also one thing that I also think is like, never be scared to share. This is one thing that I've learned always. So whenever I go to a competitor, I'm never scared. Like, someone asks me, how do you do this? I'll always explain. I'll always tell you how I do things. So
I'll tell you too.
I want to ask a question. Okay. From your first 20 clients that came, or let's say from the first 100 clients, that you have, when somebody at this point is not your ideal fit, do you send them away, or they're still by you?
So first of all, we don't have, meaning to say, we are a boutique firm and we are high-end firm. So we usually work with bigger firms. But I just want to, in terms of team, how many clients we have. So the way we deal with clients, we do often every year almost, we send away clients, and we call them pruning. We prune our list. We have a process we have a report card. We're now before the new year. What we will do is every team member, every person in our office, we ask them to grade the clients that they're working with. So you would grade them on a scale of 1 to 10. How responsive are they? How much do you enjoy working with them? So every client has a grade of how enjoyable it is, because at the end of the day, I want my team to be happy working with them.
So if somebody doesn't get a good rating, they're out of your company?
So we rate clients on three. You get on three main categories. One is likability, meaning like when the person calls, does your blood pressure come up when they call you, right? So that's a problem, right? Because we look at our clients, our partners. I feel for our clients, and I want to be able to work with them. That's one way. And responsiveness is because we're very proactive, and it's a two-way street. We want them to be forthcoming to us. And the third is obviously pricing, right? And when it comes to tax, it's also like, obviously, if a person is a cheat or a crook, then we'll let them go. But on those factors, we rate every client. Now, every year, what I would do is, if it's a bad client, if they pay very nice, I'll be honest with you, it's tricky. I don't know if I would let them go, but if they're not, I might increase the price for someone who is difficult to deal with, to be honest. That's really what I would do. I used to send them away outright. Now I would just really give them a price, because it takes a toll on me, on my team, to work with them. So yeah, if it's a difficult client, they'll get an increase. And sometimes they will leave by themselves.
You don't just send them away. You just raise the price.
Exactly. That's what I would do. The only time that I would actually outright send away is when I know. Unfortunately, I have instances where a person was willing to pay the price, but they're not responsive, and they are not going by the books, and they're not, meaning, of course, we're also working with our clients in terms of tax planning, but sometimes if we feel a person goes into that area where we're not comfortable, we will just let them go. I would say on average, we probably, there's not a big percent. I would say we have a churn rate of 5% per year, right? But it includes clients that there's always clients for one reason or another, they would go away, or that we would increase the price and sort of filter them out.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I also had in the past where we wanted to, but also it's a little different. It's like, also a lot of times the bookkeeping work could like explode. Sometimes like a client just expands and does a lot of work. So then, let's say if we were working on an account 10 hours a week, also we find ourselves working 20 hours a week on the account. And then we have to tell them, and then they're like, oh, we don't know, whatever. So we're like, maybe it's time you get yourself an in-house bookkeeper. I would be more than happy to transition. Actually, I want an interesting story with a client that I was working for with 5 months, and we had the same problem. We never got a response, and we were billing every single month. And so the first quarter we finished, and then there was some internal changes. Quite some people left. So officially the owner said he's taking responsibility of all the accounting questions, like all the charges and whatever. And like after another 2 months, I saw I wasn't getting anywhere with him. So I told him, I think we should stop now, because I haven't been made any progress in your account in the last 3 months. Then rather continue to the end of the year where I'm like, gonna just keep on billing you, and then end the year I'm gonna come and say I still have nothing, and then gonna be upset at me. So let's stop it now. Let's fight now. Let's like be over now. And if you're ever ready, you can always come back and decide. But it's sometimes very important for bookkeepers
Right.
to really know when to pull the plug.
Right, and especially we also have our separate CFO advisory department. So with that department, very often we would work on a project base, which will be as we will take over, clean out the books, do the stuff for 6 months, and after that we will slowly transition out and give it over to our clients. So those engagements are usually by design 6 to 12 months.
Wow, nice. So one thing I really wanted to ask you was, as I got to know you, and it's one thing you mentioned that you're very proactive. So, and it's something that I admired you a lot about, getting to know your firm, and we have clients that we work hand in hand with, and I work with a lot of accountants, and I could say that you're so on top of the game. And I also like certain accountants, they'll like say, oh, the books don't match the tax return. Like, oh yeah, we did something. By there's no such thing. You actually come into the books, you do all adjustments in QuickBooks. So that's how whenever you take the tax return, it always matches back to the books. You come back the next year, always it matches. And you guys are just like so on top of everything. My question is, how are you guys so on top? How did you, number one, how do you like keep track of all this? And how do you have such a great team? Like, how did you build this up? Obviously, this is not something that came in a year from now. This is something that you've been worked over the last couple of years, but how did you really manage to pull this off?
So first of all, thank you. I appreciate that, because we put in a lot of effort in being proactive, and someone noticing that it's a good feeling that people noticing that. So being proactive is core to us. It's really what we are. And what I would say is, first of all, it's my nature. I am very organized, and we hire based on that. So our team, when we hire a person, if anyone knows our office, there's no piece of paper. Our inbox, we have a policy of inbox 0. There's no emails. We're very proactive. And I'll tell you a secret: we are proactive and we are time, and we didn't work any overtime. And I think there's a concept of begin with the end in mind. I tell my people is 5 o'clock, you have to leave. 5 o'clock, whatever, if you work until 6. Meaning to say is, we want to be organized, proactive. It's a matter of having a good project management system, being on top of your game, being focused, and it's doable. It just has to be, you have to communicate with your team that this is important, and people appreciate that. And it's not for everyone, but some clients really, really value proactiveness, clarity, what we provide.
I always say is that I used to tell people, and I tell to my employees also, I say, like, when I want my employees to care about something, I say the most important thing is the boss has to care about it. I said, if I don't care about it, nobody else is going to care about it. So I think that it's like, they said actually, and when on the CPA, like one of the things is like lead by example, and set the tone, and that's really the way you want to lead it. So I guess it comes really from the way you set yourself up. Yes. And the way you want your team to lead it.
Yes, that leadership is about leading from the front, not from behind. So it's like whatever I try to, whatever request I'm trying to ask my team to do it, I would do it myself as well, just to try it out, at least the beginning for sure. Like to see if it makes sense to do it or not. And yeah, as you said.
Mm-hmm. Do you use any particular task program to keep track of everything, or how do you keep track of that?
Yes, our project management system is core to what we do. We have, which is, I can mention the name. The name is Carbon, but it's designed for accountants. So if we're talking to Carbon bookkeepers, to accountants and bookkeepers, you may find value. There are other that are probably good as well. What Carbon does, it helps you not only with project management with tasks, it helps a lot with emails as well. So the emails comes into that. So all the emails, everything gets filtered through Carbon, and Carbon helps you a lot to have the right process, how to navigate, how to delegate, how to prioritize work. So that's really core. It's not we have something. That's the core that holds everything together.
So nice. So I guess is Carbon also practical for bookkeepers, or it's mainly just for accounting firms?
I think it's the same. There's nothing specific that makes it accounting more than bookkeepers. Meaning, so it may very well work for bookkeepers as well. It is designed for the accounting niche, meaning probably bookkeepers could do it as well. It has decent features. I would say bookkeepers could do it well. I would only caution you that it's more on the high end. It's expensive. It's not cheap. You have to find value in it to make it useful. But for us, all around, I've looked at many project management. There's a separate discussion. Do you want to use a project management system that is industry agnostic? I know people like ClickUp, Asana. and then there is industry specific. Even people don't know that even project management system geared for the accounting and bookkeeping practice, there's like, I think approximately 30 software, right? I would say there are only 5 that are considered good. They're considered good, and Carbon is one of them.
What are those 5? You know them?
I think TaxDome is one of them. Canopy, those are actually more TaxDome, Canopy. I think Financial Sense. I'm not sure, but I'm saying is, if you want, meaning with this, I can give you a list of all the 30. But
so for guys, everyone's listening, if you really want to know how Jacob is so on top of the game, the answer is he has a good system in place, which is Carbon. I know myself, we are actually in the middle of switching over to Asana. I actually had looked at Carbon years ago, but since we don't do taxes, we only do bookkeeping. We didn't want to. I didn't find Carbon to be exactly so, exactly for what I needed more. So, but we actually switched over to, we're in the middle of switching over now to Asana, which is more industry, easier, and we have a professional helping us setting it up. But this is definitely something that, if you really want to, get your firm to be proactive. And I know that I have spoken to many people, and people like proactiveness. People like to feel, one of the things that accountants deliver, and I always see, is like they give, I think a part of the fee is to like give peace of mind. Like when you have a good accountant and he files your taxes, he takes care of your estimated payments, takes care of your sales tax, you have peace of mind. You know that stuff are being done right. You also know stuff that's being handled. When the accountant starts showing laziness and they're like, oops, we missed the due date. Oops, we forgot. Oh, it's last minute, send us everything. That takes away a lot from what the client expects from the accountant. And I think it's really important.
Right. I'll just add quickly that what I always tell people is that when we hire, your head is made to think, not to remember. I don't want you to remember anything. You have a system for that, right? Don't remember anything, right? So by having everything written down, it gives you a way of having a clear mind, and you can be calm and think properly.
Wow. Yeah, the head is made for creativity. You want to be creative and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask a different question. If you're so much in the task program, so I know you have your emails, that comes into your task program. This is like a common question a lot of bookkeepers and accountants have. Do you let clients communicate with you over WhatsApp? Or that's something that you don't allow?
We don't allow it. I wouldn't say never, but I would say almost never. I'm coming from the place where people used to contact me on WhatsApp. I made a stop to it. So what I would say is we do have to offer some flexibility. So I would tell a client upfront, first of all, it's very important setting the right expectations. If you have a lead and they keep on talking to you during the onboarding process on WhatsApp, and then all of a sudden, once they cut you the first check, and then you start, oh, no WhatsApp, then they're like, oh, so when you want to do sales with me, you're accepting WhatsApp, and now you stop. So it's very important to set the right expectations. So by us, I'm very clear with the client. If a person sends me a note, I'll answer them, but I will tell them is that that's not how we communicate. And the reason why we're not doing that is we want to be able to have everything in our project management. WhatsApp voice notes, it's not made for that. It's not, and I want to be able to see every email. So for example, if you're my client, he asks me a question, I can go in the back end to see every email. WhatsApp is very difficult. It's not searchable, voice notes and stuff like that. So we do have a WhatsApp number. In very rare cases, if a person will send us something, we'll take care of it. But if a person abuses it, I'll just tell them that, just be aware that we don't really like it. And I give you another tip. What I do is, I do respond to every WhatsApp, but I will not cut line. I will not let, and that's very important to remember, even with text messages. So you have an office, you have a system, and then your friend will text you. So really what happens, they want to skip the line, right? Because it's a text message, I'll just send you a text. I don't let them skip the line. If I have a process of working, if I have a WhatsApp, I'll keep them, I will just make a note of it and get them back the next day. I don't want to teach them that they can skip the line. And you know what the punishment is to responding to someone to a text right away? You know what the punishment is? The punishment is that they expect you to answer every text right away.
Mm-hmm. How often do clients reach out to you?
By now, almost never.
Meaning, but in general, like if they need, like how often does a general client like in contact with your office? Like once a month or once a year?
We have clients that we're in touch with them a few times a week, and we have clients that quarterly. But everyone has a primary contact. So they are trained to call in the office. And what I tell a client is that when you call me, at the end of the day, because you have a designated person who's in charge, I will always involve them in the phone call. So there is no point of calling me, because at the end of the day, it goes the other way around. You call your contact person, and if they feel that this is something that we need to discuss in further detail, they need me on the line, then we'll set up a conference call and we'll discuss it together. So
Wow.
in reality, day to day, I don't have that many people that reach out to me directly. And my phone number, I do have a direct line, but it goes straight to voicemail. It doesn't even ring. It doesn't even ring. So not WhatsApp, not my phone. I try to be focused. My cell phone is in my drawer. I don't even see when it rings during the day. And the same thing with the phone, because my job is to focus on doing focus work and supporting my team. So if someone is going to call me, I'm unable to help them, because what I tell the client is, if you're calling me now, if I'm going to pick up, it's like next time when I'm talking to you, do you want me to pick up another client calls me in the middle of my conversation? No. If I'm giving you now an hour to review your tax, to do tax strategy, to do business advisory, you don't want me to pick up another client in the same time, right? So at the same time, on the same thought, I don't want to pick up the phone for you while I'm working with another client. But of course, these tips only helps when you're actually delivering. People trust it, because at the end of the day, every phone call, every email, I would say gets an answer within 24 hours, and usually even less. But if we have a system, that's the way we do it. And I'll tell you a secret. Even my office, if anyone in my office wants to work with me, they would book a time on my calendar as well. It's the same rule applies to internally as well.
Yeah, I have a rule. If it's not on the calendar, don't expect me to show up. And
Yeah.
I even told my assistant that, like when I'm out of the office, if I have a personal thing that I have to be out, my calendar is going to be blocked for that time zone. So you check my calendar. If I have a slot available, I'm available. If not, not. I actually recently, last few weeks, started giving out my calendar link to my whole team internally. Like when they want discussing, I said, just look at my calendar. If it's available, it's available. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, that's what we do.
To be here, then I'm not.
So we have something that we call quick items. If you have so when I have a quick question, so we have something we call quick item. You put in a few of your quick questions, and when you have a few of those quick items, you book time with me, and we just work on them together.
Wow, I actually have sometimes when clients reach out to me. Like, so in the beginning, usually I always designate a rep, and on the onboarding call, I always tell them this is your rep and this is who you'll be in contact with. And I do actually have WhatsApp. Every person in the office does have a WhatsApp message. And the way we work with it is like, if the reason why I like to have the WhatsApp is, okay, bookkeeping, we're a lot more involved to a certain extent. So in that case, we find clients loving to send voice notes, especially when they have a hard time typing up messages and emails. So we let them send voice notes. If it's something they have to take care of right away, we just basically create a task for it, and the person in charge of the account will follow up. It's actually interesting on ConnectBooks on our software. What we did is we do have a help chat on our website, but we were able to integrate it to WhatsApp. So basically, by us, you can message a WhatsApp, and then it just creates a ticket in the system. So the support team has just a list of tickets. It doesn't matter. Even if you call in, we'll create a ticket for you, because we have to log the call. Like if we call in, you have a problem, say, okay, we'll get back to you tomorrow. Where we're keeping that today. So you have to create a ticket. And if you open up a chat on the website, it also creates a ticket. If you email support, it also goes in that ticket. And if you send a WhatsApp, it's all the same. So, but it's an interesting take that I like to talk to a lot of people about it.
Right. I do know that with the bookkeeping industry, it's more common to use WhatsApp, but for us, this is what works for us. And it comes back to setting the right expectations. If a person needs that, I would tell them if that's very important for you, we're probably not the right accountant for you. I understand the need, but for us, the way we're set up, it doesn't work for us.
It's very hard to sit and have a bunch of WhatsApps, but we have the designated rep, the same as the respond team, they respond to WhatsApp. But like, if people WhatsApp me, I mean, sometimes I can forget to respond like 3 days later, because my WhatsApp list gets so long that, like one day when I'm bored, then I go through like, oh, I see a message me, I'm sorry. But either way, I also have the same concept with talking by rep. Like if somebody calls me, I say, look, I gotta get the rep involved, and I need to get the rep involved because I don't know what's going on, and I need to get the information and to know what's going on. So I just want to add on 1 or 2 more questions as we're going to start wrapping up. So let me ask you one question. What do you do in terms of when you have a problem that you can't solve? Like, what is your first go-to strategy when you have a certain question or stuff like that? How do you deal with it?
It will depend what type of question. For tax questions, first of all, sometimes I like to consult with myself, which sounds strange, but sometimes you sort of try to have that experience, like try to calmly think about it. I think I'm good at that. A tax question I would discuss with a tax expert. So we have there are tax experts that even accountants, there's always advanced stuff that we don't deal with the day to day that I would ask a tax expert. So that's something that I would utilize.
Is there specific places we go to, like is a WhatsApp group, some Google Forms, or somewhere?
Yes, so of course there are WhatsApp groups for accountants that I would utilize, but then I have a particular person, like a consultant, like a tax expert, that we hire by the hour. We pay them $450 an hour, but I would tell them is give me a few hours. I want to discuss this tax situation. What do you think about that, right? Bigger firms will have that in-house on staff, but we don't have in-house, meaning we're all tax experts, but sometimes there are advanced specific cases where I would just pay someone to help me sort things out. But of course, there's a network of accountants that I'm involved with. There's several groups and people that I'm involved, and that will be with tax items. And if it's business decision, very often I'll discuss with my team. We have a very open and I'm very comfortable being open and vulnerable with my team, and we actually have weekly huddles where we discuss issues and things. And sometimes, just talking with your peers gives you clarity.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, when I have a question, I always we always have these also WhatsApp groups of bookkeepers and other places, where we actually go look. Sometimes I stay unknown. It could happen. I'm actually looking for expertise in a certain area now in tax. Actually, I'm going to reach out to you afterwards, but. It's sometimes it gets hard, like people they get stuck, and I'm saying like to hear where people go to look and where people go to find out stuff. And then the last question I want to ask you is, how do you maintain relationships with your clients? So I know for example, there's certain clients that we have that I never talk to, which they're like my autopilot. Like we set them up, everything goes. Then there's those people always have something coming up their sleeve. But in general, one thing I like to do is I like to maintain a certain relationships throughout the year, like here and there, bump into them or talk to them, just to make just to hear how things are moving and how things are going. So what is your go-to strategy with maintaining a proper relationship with all your clients?
Yeah, it's hard. It's challenging because you want to have that personal relationship, but especially in my position, my clients will typically work with their primary accountant in the office, so I don't get to talk to them that often. So in terms of my client, actually this year before Rosh Hashanah, I actually tried calling as many as I can. I just took 2 days and I made phone calls, left messages to many of them to reach out to them. I tried to tell my team if any of them, because they are like the people on the ground. If they know a client making a simcha, an event, I should go, I'll meet them. Other than that, we did actually implement a system recently where I can see in the backend, because we're using a robust project management system, so we can actually track if this client, we hadn't reached out to them in a while, I get a report and just make an effort to reaching out. How are you? If we didn't hear from them, remember that many of our clients, we do have officially scheduled quarterly meetings, right? So that's not a problem. But there are some clients that we don't, and they are more what we would call a reactive engagement. So they were we don't have scheduled meetings with them, but still, if we don't hear from them, we will reach out to them.
Wow, thank you so much, Jacob. I've really learned a lot, and I believe our listeners also learn a lot. And if people want to learn more about Oberlander Co, what's the best way they can reach out to you?
Our website is oberlanderco.com on the contact us page, or on LinkedIn.
All right, amazing. And if anybody would like to learn more about me, you can just go to my website, connectbooks.com. You can see about our software or visit about our bookkeeping service. You can learn more. Thank you so much again, Jacob, for joining you.
Thank you, Nachman. Have a good day. Bye-bye.